Can we start once again? Everyone? So we'll start in AS 108. I'm expecting one 6 to 8 marks question in this attempt from this chapter. Now, operating segment. You all know segment. Segment reporting, correct? So what is operating segment? Bolo. It is a component of one entity, correct? That is engaged in what? Business activity. That is engaged in a business activity for which it may earn revenue and incur expense. Means any component which is engaged in business activity which may earn revenue, which may. The word is what? Which may earn revenue. Correct? Means any component which are capable of generating revenue will be also what? Operating segment. Will be also operating segment. Whose operating results are reviewed by CODM. CODM means what? Chief Operating Decision Maker, and for which discrete financial information are available. Discrete financial information are available means what? Ki we have separate data for that segment. Means I can say in this way ki all the sales expense are recorded separately. Correct? So if these three conditions satisfied, that component will become operating segment. Correct? So what is the first condition? Which is engaged in business activity, which may earn revenue, whose operating results are reviewed by CODM, and for which discrete financial information are available. Correct? Now, business activity for this chapter will include both revenue from external parties and revenue from other segment. Means it will also include inter-segment sale. Inter-segment sale. So one segment transferred goods to another segment, that will be also considered as business activity. Means suppose there is one segment and there is another segment, the entire sales has been done to B, so it means they are also capable of generating revenue. They are capable of generating revenue, correct? Yes. Now, operating segment can be based on product. It can be based on location. It can be based on class of customer. Class of customer means either will identify a segment based on product. For example, if I say I am also doing some business, I have also one entity. So in my entity, if I want to create segment based on product, so it will be what? It will be foundation, IPCC, and final. These are the product. Accounts I teach in foundation, accounts I teach in IPCC, accounts I teach in final. There are three product I have. Three product now, correct? Based on location means what? It might happen I teach this all three subject, yeah, all three level. I teach in what? Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kolkata. So this is based on location. Based on location. Based on class of customer means my all the products are in three mode. One is face to face, one is pen drive, one is what? Virtual. Virtual means virtual classes will be there. So it means that depends upon the class of customer who want to learn from face to face, who want to purchase pen drive, and who want to come in virtual class. That is based on class of customer. Means can I say my segment can be based on what? Either product or location or class of customer. Who will decide the nature of segment? I will decide. How I will decide? If I appoint my manager based on product, It means operating segment is based on product. If I appoint manager based on class of customer, कि face to face will be maintained by this manager, pen drive will be maintained by this manager, and virtual class will be maintained by this manager. It means my segment is based on class of customer. Otherwise, the customer it will be based on what location, correct? It means if I appoint CODM based on location, my operating segment is based on location and so on, correct? Understood? Now, every component of entity is not an operating segment. For example, if I say research and development department is also one component, but they are not capable of generating any revenue, so that is not an operating segment. So every component is not an operating segment, correct? Understood this point? Yes, sir. Now, identification of operating segment. For identification of operating segment, Ind AS 108 says it is totally based on management approach. Whatever management will decide, that will become operating segment. That will become operating segment. Means we need to identify CODM. We need to identify CODM, and CODM has to identify operating segment of an entity. Correct? Are you able to understand? Who is CODM? CODM may be a person, a group of person whose function is to allocate resources and assess the performance of entity. Means these are the person who is responsible for operating performance of that component. Operating performance of the component. It can be named as CEO. It can be named as what? CEO. It can be named as CO, Chief Operating Operation, or any other name. It can be named as any other designation. Are you getting what I am saying? Yes. So how to identify? There are 3 points. First we'll say, is the component is able to generate revenue? Yes. Are the operating results reviewed by CODM? Yes. Is the discrete information available? Yes. Then that component become what? Operating segment. Means first is identify operating segment based on 3 criteria. Based on these 3 criteria. Correct? Once operating segment is identified, then the second point is that can we aggregate 2 or more operating segment as single operating segment for the purpose of this chapter? For the purpose of this chapter. For example, we have operating segment A, B, C, D. So can we combine and can we make it one operating segment? Can we make it one operating segment? Means this is known as aggregation criteria. Aggregation criteria. So what Ind AS 108 says, yes, we can combine for the purpose of this chapter. For the purpose of this chapter. What is that? 2 or more operating segment may be aggregated in a single operating segment. Single operating segment if they have similar economic characteristics. If they have similar economic characteristics, means their risk and return are same. Their risk and return are same. Are you getting? If they have similar economic characteristics, means they generate the same type of revenue and expenses are also same. Their risk and return are same. Similar economic characteristics and segment are similar in each of the following aspect. If they are similar in each of the following aspect, then we can combine. Then we can combine. For example, nature of product or services are similar. Nature of products and services are similar. For example, ITCA Foundation as well as CS Foundation, more or less syllabus are same. So can I say the nature of service whatever I am providing is same. So these 2 segments can be combined. These 2 segments can be combined. Correct. So nature of product or services, nature of production process, nature of production process. For example, I'll give one example. Suppose we have silk. Silk, you know, not dairy milk silk. Silk. Correct. So silk, one is handmade, one is machine made. So silk is one product, but can you see their production process are different? Therefore, they are 2 different operating segments and they cannot be combined. They cannot be combined. So, but if their production process are same, it can be combined. It can be combined. Class of customer, if the class of customer are same, then we can combine. Correct now, we can combine. For example, if I say FR, more or less, the CA and CMA syllabus are same. So CA student is one customer. I should not say customer, but for this chapter I need to say customer. So CA student is one customer and CMA student is what? One customer. But my product remain same. FR. I will not teach separately for what? CMA student. I teach CA and that only is taken by whom? CMA. The class of customer are same, therefore it can be combined. Therefore it can be combined. Method used to distribute that product means the distribution process are same, then it can be combined. And nature of regulatory environment means any act, whatever act is prevailing, that is also same, so it can be combined. So if these conditions are satisfied, so we can combine two or more than two operating segment in a single segment for this chapter. So what is the first rule? Identify operating segment. Suppose we have identified operating segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Means I have how many operating segment? 10 operating segment. Now in this we can combine this, we can combine this, we can combine this, we can combine this, we can combine this. If this condition satisfied, if this condition satisfied, so can I say it means now I have how many operating segment? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Are you getting what I'm saying? So it means we have combined 10 segment and now it become 5 operating segment. Now what India says, for disclosure purpose, you need to find out of these how much is reportable segment. What are the reportable segment? Understood first? First identify operating segment, then aggregate operating segment, then find out what? Reportable segment. Means there can be 100 there may be 100 operating segment. So it is not possible to disclose the information about 100 operating segment. So only we need to find out reportable operating segment, and for that some information need to be disclosed. For that some information need to be disclosed. Are you getting what I am saying? So reportable segment, this is very important from examination point of view, कि identify reportable segment. So Ind AS 108 has given 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 criteria for identifying reportable segment. How many criteria? 4 criteria for identifying reportable segment. First is based on QT. QT means quantitative threshold. Means if any operating segment exceed the QT given in Ind AS 108, that become what? Reportable segment. Any operating segment which exceed what? Quantitative threshold given in Ind AS 108, that will become what? Reportable segment. So how many QT has been given? 3 QT has been given. How many QT has been given? 3 QT has been given. These QT are based on three elements. First is based on segment revenue. Second is based on segment result. Third is based on segment asset. Correct? Segment revenue means what? Segment revenue means what? External sale plus internal sale. So whenever I am saying segment revenue, it will include also inter-segment sale. Inter-segment sale. So whenever I am saying segment revenue, it is external sale plus what? Plus what? Internal sale. When I am saying segment result, it means segment revenue minus segment expense. Minus segment expense. So only related to operating. Means when I am saying segment expense, this is only operating expense. Operating expense. So this will be operating profit or loss before interest, before exceptional item and before tax. So when I am saying segment result, it should be operating below, operating profit or loss before interest, before exceptional item, before tax. Once again, when I am saying segment result, it means what? Operating profit or loss before interest, before tax. When I am saying tax, tax means both current tax and deferred tax. Current tax and deferred tax. There are some interests which are operating in nature. For example, if I have taken bank overdraft only for segment A, then that interest expense become operating expense for that segment A. But sometimes we take debenture. So debenture is never segment wise. So that interest expense is non-operating in nature. That interest expense is non-operating nature. So when I am saying before interest, so this is which interest? Which are non-operating. So there are some operating interest expense that will be deducted. That will be deducted. Once again, what I have said, segment result means what? Operating profit or loss before interest, before exceptional item, before tax. Understood? Correct. What is the meaning of segment asset? Segment asset means segment PP, segment intangible asset, segment current asset, segment current asset. So whatever asset that is related to segment will become segment asset. That will become segment asset. For example, investment is never segment wise. So investment will not be a part of segment asset. For example, current tax asset and deferred tax asset or current tax liability or deferred tax liability is never segment wise. That is entities wise. So that will be not a part of segment asset. Means I'll just give one hint. Whenever I am saying segment revenue, whenever I am saying segment result, when I am saying segment asset. So in this, what should not be considered? Any item related to investment should not be considered investment, because investment is not segment wise. So any interest income on this investment will not be a segment revenue, will not be a segment revenue, because investment is never segment wise. Will you do investment segment wise? No. For F2F class this investment, for pen drive class this, no, we never do segment wise investment. That is always entities wise. Then all the tax item, deferred tax, current tax, DTA, DTL, current tax liability, current tax asset are not segment wise. So that will not be considered to find out what? These segment items. Are you getting? Then all the borrowing, all the borrowing which are not operating in nature. There are some borrowing which are operating in nature. For example, we can take bank overdraft segment wise also. So that become operating loan. Apart from that, all loans are what? Basically entities wise, because we'll not take bank loan segment wise. We'll take bank loan what? Entities wise. But if you have taken segment wise loan, then it become what? Operating. Otherwise that is non-operating item. Are you getting? So you need to be careful about these three items to find out segment revenue, segment result and segment asset. Understood this point? Yes. So what is QT? What they have said? What they have said? Segment revenue is 10% or more of total segment revenue. So if this criteria are satisfied, it become a reportable segment. Second, segment result is 10% or more of combined result in terms of profit or combined result in terms of loss, whichever is greater in what? In what? Absolute terms. Have you understood this point? Point number 1 2 you have understood. Have you understood second point? How many have not understood? Second point? Chalo. If you have not understood, we'll take one example on this. Correct? First QT is what? Segment revenue is 10% or more of total segment revenue. Second condition is what? Segment result is 10% or more of combined result in terms of profit or combined result in terms of loss, whichever is greater in terms of in absolute terms. Correct? What is third? Segment asset is 10% or more of total segment asset. One thing is good, all are 10%, 10%, 10%. So it is 10% or more. Means even though it is 10%, it becomes a reportable segment. QT you understood? QT, yes. Then as per management discretion, any operating segment can be reportable segment based on the discretion of management. Based on the discretion of management, even though it does not satisfy QT limit, even though it does not satisfy QT limit. For example, I want to start GFRS classes. So can I say revenue is zero, result is zero, and asset is zero? Because till now I have not started. Correct now. But can I say this is a new business for me? I should inform the user or not? बोलो कि I am starting my GFRS classes. बोलना yes or no? So I will inform my student or not? So any management for new startup business, they want that users should know about this. So as per management discretion, any segment can become a reportable segment. Then point number C is important. Any operating segment which was reportable during preceding financial year as if it meet QT should be also reportable during current financial year even though it do not meet what QT limit in current year. Have you understood this point? Correct means what? थोड़ा सा only A B C D 2017-18. It meet QT, it meet QT, it meet QT. It does not meet QT, does not meet QT. ठीक है. But this was included in reportable segment as per the choice of management. So for 2017-18, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable, this is not reportable. Understood? Correct. Now, 2018-19, this meet QT, this meet QT, this does not meet QT, this does not meet QT, this does not meet QT. Batao, what are reportable segment? Whether A is reportable? Yes. B, C, D, D, yes, no. Yes, no. There are someone saying yes, someone saying no. Understood why I have taken example? My example will be always doubt will come. Because I know wherever a student have doubt. Means someone is correct, someone is wrong. So it is no. Because this was not reportable based on what? QT. Based on QT. Understood what I am saying? So what is the para? Any operating segment which was reportable during preceding financial year as if it meet what? QT should be reportable in current year even though it does not meeting QT limit. So which was reportable based on QT criteria, not based on management criteria. Therefore, in my example, D is not reportable segment. Correct. But one more point. Let's see whether you are doing this correct or not. If you are saying this correct means you have understood. Next year. Yeah. QT, QT, QT. Batao. Which one is reportable segment? Yes. Then what? Yes. Then what? Yes. No. No. Then. No. Then what? Now correct. So now this was not reportable based on what? QT. Therefore, now C is not reportable. C is not reportable. Very good. Now it means you have understood all the point. Correct? Point number D is to expected. Point number D is expected. What they are saying? If the total external revenue reported by operating segment means of reportable segment constitute less than what? 75% of entity's revenue. So now this is external revenue, not segment revenue. External revenue means only external sales, excluding internal sale. If the external revenue reported by operating segment constitute less than what? 75% of entity's revenue. But when I am saying entity's revenue, entity means total entity. Whether it will include internal sale, or it will not include internal sale. Entity's revenue will be only external sale, it will be external sale plus internal sale. Huh? Only? Very good. So this means only external sale. Only external sale. Correct? Are you getting what I am saying? Entity's revenue means what you are writing in SOPL. SOPL may only external sale will come. Internal sale will not come. Understood this point? So if the total external revenue reported by operating segment constitute less than 75% of total entity's revenue, then additional operating segment shall be identified as reportable segment until at least 75% of entity's revenue is included in reportable segment. Means at least we should report how much entity's revenue? 75% of entity's revenue. If it is less than 75%, we should also include some more operating segment as reportable segment. This is what identification of what? Reportable segment. Understood? Correct? Bull. Correct. Come to page number 56. But before that, I will like to explain this point. This point, point number 2, based on segment result. ठीक है ना? Everyone. A, B, C, D, E. Suppose result is 100, 20 loss, 300 loss, 50 profit, and 20 profit. Total is what? 100, 50, 20. 170 minus 320. How much? Loss is what? Net loss is what? 50. 150. 150 na? Only 50. This is 300 ray. So 320 minus 170 how much? Minus 150. Array, I am also bad, you are also bad in mathematics. Both will become CA. For CA, mathematics not required, na Ray? We do 1 plus 1 also in calculator. Yes, Ray. We don't use our mind in that type of work. 1 plus 1 become 2 now. Okay, now write down 2. 150. So what they are saying, first find out combined result in terms of profit and combined result in terms of loss. So 100, 50, 20, 170, 20, 300, 320. But in absolute term is ignoring negative sign. And whichever is higher, which is higher? So 320 become your benchmark. 320 become your benchmark. Understood? So you find out combined result in terms of profit, combined result in terms of loss, whichever is greater in absolute terms. Now calculate segment result based on what? 320. Means 100 divided by 320 how much? Batao. Percentage. 100 divided by 320 how much? 30? 31.25. Then 20 by 320. 6 point whatever, 300 by 320, 93 whatever, 50 by 320, 15, 15 na, 16, okay, ठीक है. Then 20 by 320, 6.2, ठीक है, understood. Now which is 10% or more than 10%? This is reportable, this is reportable, this is reportable. Means if segment result is 10% or more of combined result in terms of profit or combined result in terms of loss, whichever is greater in absolute terms. Now understood the meaning? So this become reportable, this become reportable, this become reportable. If any one QT satisfied, it become reportable. It become reportable. This meaning you have understood? Yes sir, we have understood. Now come to question number 53. X Limited has identified the following business component. Which of the segment would be reportable as per the criteria prescribed under Ind AS 108? Correct. So they have given pharma, FMCG, Ayurveda, other. ठीक है. They have given revenue. तो बताओ how much external sale? 97 nil 38. Total is what? 108. How much internal sale? Nil 4 nil 41 45. So what is the segment revenue? 97 4 3 49. And this become how much? 153. Now can you find out segment revenue in percentage? बताओ. 63. Then 0.2.6. Then 1.96. Then 32.03. तो बताओ which is reportable segment? Yes, no, no, yes. One criteria satisfied, it become reportable. Correct. Then based on segment result. So based on segment result, they have given segment profit 20, 20, 2.5, 2, 5.5. All are profit. Thank you very much. All are profit means very simple. Total is what? 30. Can you give me in terms of percentage? It is 66.67, 8.33, 6.67, 18.33. बताओ which one is reportable segment? Yes, no, no, yes. ठीक है. Then segment asset. They have given segment asset 55, 55, 25, 4, 6, 90. बताओ what is percentage? It is 61.11, 27.78, 4.44 and 6.67. बताओ which one is reportable segment? Yes, yes, no, no. So can I say what are the reportable segment as per QT? Pharma is reportable, FMCG is reportable, and others are reportable segment. As per what? As per QT. Understood. But can you see we need to also check 75% of entities revenue criteria? बोले या सुनो. Correct. So what that mean? First, can you give me total entities revenue? What is the total entities revenue? Only what? External sale. How much? 108 lakh. ठीक है. And how much reportable external sale? तो reportable external sale 97 plus what? Nil plus what? 8. How much reportable external sale? 105 lakh. Which is how much percentage of this? 97%. Means that criteria satisfied, means no additional segment is required. But suppose this is less than what? 75%, then we'll include some other segment until this criteria reach either equal to or more than 75% of entity's revenue. Means this also you are supposed to check and write down in exam. Write down in exam. Suggested answer is given. You can compare suggested answer. Correct? Understood. This is done. Last point of this chapter. Last point. I am expecting this part. Oh, this part is already asked in exam. This is already asked in exam, but then also it can be repeated. Preparation of segment report. Means disclosure requirement. This is nothing but question will be given and answer will be given in the question. Only you need to present the information. Only you need to present the information. Means bonus marks. Question and answer will be given in the question paper. Correct. But before that, one more point I need to explain. Then only you will understand this point. Matrix form of organization. Do you know what is matrix form of organization? Huh? Matrix, you know? Which matrix? Movie? At Nalayak. Matrix form of organization means what? Ki suppose we have product A, B, C, 3 product, and we have appointed manager 1, manager 2, manager 3. It means my segment is based on product. It means segment is based on product. But what happened? This entity has having 3 location. Location also 3. Location 1, location 2 and location 3. And they have also appointed manager location wise also. Normally entity don't do. Normally entity will either report based on product or they will report based on location. If they are reporting both, means they think both are important. Product is also important and location important. Means I need to also concentrate location wise. I need to also concentrate product wise. Are you getting what I am saying? For example, I need to also teach in Hyderabad and I also need to teach in Bangalore. So I will appoint two manager there, one manager Hyderabad, one manager what? Bangalore. And I need to also concentrate in face-to-face class. So I'll appoint one manager for face-to-face class. Ki bhai, please, you are responsible for face-to-face class. Arrange all the amenities for face-to-face class. So it means for this entity, both are important. They have also appointed manager 4, manager 5, manager 6. This type of organizations are known as matrix form of organization. The doubt will be there, कि sir now operating segment will be based on product, ki based on location. Understood? So this 1 second depends upon what? Choice of management. Means management will decide whether it is based on product ki based on location. But what Ind AS 108 says, ki whenever there is a matrix form of organization and if you are opting this as what? Operating segment, so this become primary operating segment and this become secondary operating segment. And if you are opting location as what? More important than product, then this will become primary operating segment and this will become secondary operating segment. Understood what I am saying? Means out of this, one will be, other will be, who will decide? Management. We are going to only audit. Means fully management oriented Ind AS. Management oriented Ind AS. But sir, why primary, why secondary? Because India says for primary 7 disclosure, for secondary 3 disclosure. Means only in case of matrix form of organization this will come. Suppose my organization only is based on product, then secondary is not required. Then only 7 disclosure because that product is only primary. So only in case of what? Matrix form of organization, management need to identify which operating segment is primary, which operating segment is secondary. 7 disclosure for what? Primary. 3 disclosure for what? Operating. And same question was asked in exam. One point I have not taught. That was asked in exam. That will be asked in exam. Means coverage should be full. Half coverage means half marks. Half marks means 50%. Danger zone. Less than 50% aggregate is difficult. Means full knowledge. If you are doing chapter, do it full. Correct? Understood? Now, it is very easy. Only now I need to inform you what are the disclosure requirements. But primary how much? 7. Secondary how much? Who will decide primary and secondary? Means in exam who will decide? Question. In exam who will decide? Question. Based on the question will answer. If they have given 7 information about product, it means it will become primary. I said the question and solution will be given in the question only. Means we need to understand. Correct? Yes, sir. So what is? So I have already written segment report may have 2 parts if there is a matrix form of organization. Now understood this sentence? Now understood this sentence? One will be primary, one will be secondary. Who will decide? Question will decide. Which one is primary, which one is secondary. Okay? Understood. Now, for primary, suppose there are 1, 2, 3 plus 4. How many segment? 4 operating segment. Out of 4, 2 are reportable segment. Means 2 are non-reportable segment. The question arises, should we disclose information about non-reportable segment? What do you think? No, because they are not reportable. अरे बोलना रे. We should disclose only information about what? Reportable. Reportable. Report कर. Reportable. So we should disclose only information about reportable segment. But our Ind AS 108 says कि whatever you are reporting for reportable segment should be reconciled with balance sheet item. अब बताओ, just try to understand. If you are only reporting about reportable segment, whether this revenue will match with balance sheet revenue? No. It means for reconciliation, we need to also disclose what? All other reconciling segment. Means suppose there are 10 segment, out of 10 segment 4 are reportable, so 6 will be combined together. Only for which purpose? Reconciliation purpose. This column was not asked in exam. In exam, whenever question was asked, this column was not given, but can be given. Can be given. Therefore, I am teaching you. Means in exam question, they are given 2 segments and both segments were reportable. Understood what I am saying? Now, what are the disclosure? First is revenue. Second is result. Third is asset. Fourth is liability. Fifth is capital expenditure. Sixth is depreciation and amortization. Seventh is other non-cash expense. How many information? 7. Can you repeat me? First is segment revenue. Second is segment result. Then segment asset. Then segment liability. Then segment capital expenditure. Then segment depreciation and amortization. Then segment other non-cash expense. Can you repeat with me? Segment revenue. Then segment. Then segment. Then segment. Then segment. Then segment. Then segment. Done. But we need to understand reconciliation also. So for reconciliation, how to disclose? Same to same format you need to apply in exam. First we write down segment fixed asset. Then we write down segment current asset. This all information will be given in the question. Only take data and write down. That becomes segment asset. Oh, sorry, I will start with segment revenue. Sorry. Segment revenue. First we write down external revenue. Then we write down inter-segment revenue. Then we write down other operating revenue. Other operating revenue. Operating, not non-operating. Operating revenue which is segment wise. So can this become segment revenue? But whether this will match with balance sheet revenue, SOPL revenue, no, because this include what? Inter-segment sale. So less inter-segment sale, and this will become entities revenue as per SOPL. Reconciliation done. Understood what I am doing? Same to same format will be used in exam. Then segment result. So if segment result is given in the question, then very good. Otherwise you need to calculate. So that is segment revenue minus segment expense. That becomes segment result. Segment result is nothing but operating profit before interest, exceptional item and tax. Means what are not deducted? Interest expense not deducted, exceptional item not adjusted and tax not adjusted. But one point, if interest expenses is segment wise, then deduct it. That is thoda sa you need to be smart. Correct? Understood. Then from this we'll deduct less interest expense for reconciliation. Not deducted, whatever not added, you do it. So it will be reconciled with total profit and loss of SOPL. So interest expense deduct, head office which are not segment wise deduct, exceptional item deduct, tax expense deduct. This will become profit for the period. This will become profit for the period. Understood? Correct. Then segment asset. Segment asset U is very simple. Segment fixed asset, segment current asset, that becomes segment asset. Whatever is not segment asset, add kar do. So DTA will add for reconciliation. DTA is not segment wise. Investment will add, that is not segment wise. There are many head office asset, that is also not segment wise. So other unallocated asset add, which is not yet allocated. This will become total asset match with balance sheet. Then segment liability, the segment borrowing which is segment wise. Borrowing normally is not segment wise, but there are some bank overdraft or some loan which can be taken segment wise. Correct now. So segment borrowing, segment operating liability, current liability, that becomes segment liability. In this we'll add DTL and other unallocated liability. This will match with total liability. And in this we'll add share capital and other equity, that will become equity and liability. Equity and liability and total asset will match with balance sheet. Understood what we are doing? Reconciliation, correct? Then other disclosure. For this other disclosure, reconciliation is not required. Means reconciliation required only for revenue, result, asset and liability. Reconciliation is not required for these three. So write down segment wise. Kadam. Whatever information given, write down. Correct. Then secondary segment, only three information without reconciliation. Secondary segment, how many information? Three, without any reconciliation. So external sale, not internal sale. Means only write down external sale. And no reconciliation required. Then segment asset, segment capital expenditure. Means only three information. External sale, segment asset, segment capital expenditure. This become information about secondary information. Correct? Understood. These are other you can read by roll. Understood? Okay. We'll do fast one question. Question number 55. Already I have prepared format for you to save time. Question number 55 likh lo. Question number 55. Because if the question will come, this question is going to come. If question will come. Question number 55, page number 57. Means this is a bonus question, but difficult. If you are not preparing in a particular way, they will not give marks. So it means one time the practice required. So if you know 10 out of 10, If you don't know, they will not give marks to you. Correct. X Limited is operating in coating industry. Its business segment comprise coating and other consisting of chemical, polymers and related activities. So we should also disclose nature of product. देखो, I've also written nature of product of services should be also disclosed. Correct? So we should also disclose nature of the product. If you see the suggested answer, they have also disclosed nature of the product. Check karo. Suggested answer in page number 58. So you should write down कि nature of product are these. Only this much. As per the question, they have given nature of product, that only you need to write down. Correct? That you can write down by your own. Then information, segment wise information. For that you need to prepare the format. Correct? So what they have given? External sale, tax, other operating income, result, asset liability. Everything they have given segment wise. Super easy question. Then they have given unallocated revenue net of expense. Why they have given this? For reconciliation. Interest and bank charges for reconciliation. Income tax expense for reconciliation. Investment and unallocated asset for reconciliation. Unallocated liability, reserve and surplus and equity share capital for reconciliation. Depreciation for disclosure. Capital expenditure for disclosure. Revenue from outside India and segment asset outside India means this is based on what? Location. Means all prior information was based on product. The last information is based on location. But which one is primary? Product is primary or product is from the question emotionally understood now? Means you need to understand from the information given the question. In this I can't help you. I don't know what question they are preparing. Already say I said answer will be given in the question. Now, banalo. How much time it will take? You want to prepare? Huh? Bana lete. Acha, in this there is one controversy in this question. Controversy is what? Let's see my answer and whether your answer is matching with suggested answer or not. If my answer and your answer match, which is different from suggested answer, means we are chartered accountant. I don't know who has prepared the suggested answer. Let's see. And in my view, my answer and your answer will match. But suggested answer is different. But we need to follow suggested answer for this. But we need to understand what is wrong here. Nah. Then only you can follow suggested answer. Otherwise, ratta application you will forget. They have given external sales, they have given tax. One thing is clear, this tax is not income tax. This tax is GST, indirect tax. My question to you all, you have done this question? Huh? Then you will give me suggested answer only. If you have done. How many have done this question? Then you will give me suggested answer. So think like chartered accountant. Huh? Then you will give me correct answer. Think like CA. My question to you all, this external sale is inclusive indirect tax, excluding indirect tax. Nothing is given in the question. You need to understand from practical point of view. So this 2 lakhs should be inclusive, excluding. How many are saying including? How many are saying including? Means 2 lakh include 5,000. You are saying. Means sales is 1,95,000. You are saying. Correct now. How many are saying excluding? I am also saying excluding. Means those who are saying including, I think you have done suggested answer. I know. Ratta application. This is ratta application. Arey bhai, indirect tax GST is never included in sale. What journal entry will pass practically? Office में journal entry किया, debtor account debit to sales. So sales will be inclusive of GST. We pass what journal entry? Debtor account debit to GST to sales. So sales will be always what? Excluding GST. तो बताओ, in exam something will happen and you will understand. अच्छा, suggested answer has taken this assumption. It is impossible. If nothing is given, this external sales should be excluding now. Excluding, but institute. They have assumed including. 100% wrong. 100% wrong. But can we challenge ICI? No, Baba, no. Now do rectification. For this question, don't challenge because this is assumption taken. Assumption take as per ICI. Solution will do by your own. Never change the assumption. Why? Because suggested answer will be given and that Nalayak examiner have their no viewpoint. They are obsolete chartered accountant. They don't know anything. They will say, tuck, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. Like this. And you can't challenge them for this. For this, you can't challenge. Follow suggested answer. Now understood why it is including? But actually it is should be excluding from my viewpoint, correct? So if I assume that this is the revenue, external sale will be 1,95,000 because we should write always excluding amount. But if you take my assumption, so we should write on 2 lakh. Bole yes or no? So answer will be different. But that examiner will don't know anything. They will delete it. So better take what? ICI assumption. But have you understood why we are taking? ठीक है चलो. Then what? 67,000 total. Total बता. 2,62. 2,62. Correct. Other operating income is what? 40 and 15. Total is what? 55,000. There is no inter-segment sale given. Therefore, I have also not. This becomes segment revenue. This becomes segment revenue. 1,95,000 plus 40, how much? 2,35,000. And 67 plus 15, how much? 82,000. And 2,62,000 plus 55. And no reconciliation required. Why? Because there is no inter-segment sale. Correct? Then what? Result. They have given segment result 10,000 and 4,000. Total become what? 14,000. Correct? But the unallocated revenue net of expense, this is given what? In total, but we should write down in lakhs. This is figure in lakhs. Rupees in lakhs. Can you convert in lakhs? It become 3,000. 3,000 plus. Then interest and bank charges will deduct. So 2,000 will deduct. This become PBT. So what is PBT? 14 plus 3 minus 2. It is what? Bolo? How much? It is 15,000. 15,000. From this will deduct what? Tax expense. So you can add on current tax and deferred tax separately. So current tax is what? 1950. 1950. And deferred tax is what? 50. So what is profit for the period? Profit for the period become what? 13,000. This will be reconciled with what? SOPL. Then segment asset, they have given segment asset 50 and 50,000 and 30,000. It become what? 80,000. 80,000. Correct? Understood? Then they have given investment. How much? 10,000. Add karenge investment 10,000. Then they have given unallocated asset 10,000. Total become what? 1 lakh. This will match with balance sheet. Then we write down liability. They have given segment liability how much? 30,000 and 10,000. Total become 40,000. Correct? Understood? Then they have given unallocated liability how much? 3,000. So total liability become 60,000. But this will not match with asset. So we need to also add reserve and surplus and share capital. How much reserve and surplus? 30,000. So other equity 30,000. And how much share capital? 10,000. This will match with what? Total asset. So your balance sheet tallied. If in exam they have not given equity now, so asset minus liability will be equity. It might happen they have not given equity, so total asset minus total liability equity you can find out and you can write down the amount. Correct? Yes. Then other disclosure, capital expenditure they have given, that is what? 55,000 now. 5,000 and other disclosure 5,000 and 2,000. Total is 7,000. And they have given depreciation and amortization. How much? 1,300. So this become 1,300 without any reconciliation. They have not given any other non-cash expense, so therefore will not write down. Correct? Understood? Then secondary segment. Based on location, India outside India. India outside India. They have given revenue from outside India. How much? How much? 30,000 na? 30,000. And they have given segment asset outside India how much? 10,000. Can you give me what is the total external revenue? Total external revenue from above. Okay, total external revenue will be what? 3,17,000. 3,17,000 total external revenue. Correct now? So we can add on total external revenue यहाँ पर 3,17,000. So can you find out how much in India? 3,17,000 minus 30. How much? How much? 2,87,000. 2,87,000. Can you give me what is the total segment asset? Not total asset. Total segment asset. How much? 80,000. Out of 80,000, how much in India? How much outside India? So how much in India? 70,000. Then can you give me total capital expenditure? How much? How much outside India? Nil. So entirely is in India. Done. 10 marks. Over. Chapter close. Revision done. Revision done. Means this is a simple. So if question is coming, you need to score full out of full from this chapter. Do balance question from SMA. All question of study matter is important. But this is only this much. Chapter is this much. Chapter is this much. Yes, sir. So what is the next chapter? What do you want? Huh? What do you want? I don't know. Business combination. 23. 115. Ruk ja, Baba. Today you have done India's 12. If I will do India's 19 right now, you will die. Can I take 105? It will require only half an hour for revision. 105 non-current asset held for sale. One question I am expecting from that. First I am doing all the chapter which I am expecting. Because examination approach na. So as per my expectation, one question should come from 105 this time. And related party also I am expecting one question. ठीक है ना? So let's see. 105 let us do. $105. Super easy, yeah. From examination point of view, 20-minute chapter. But I teach 4 to 5 hours in class, this chapter. But this is one of the important Indias. Very important Indias practically now. Because there was no corresponding AS. Correct now, we have no corresponding AS for this. So non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operation. They have two part in this chapter. Two part. So I will say there are three part and effectively four part. What are the scope of this chapter? Non-current asset held for sale. Then non-current asset held for distribution. Held for distribution to honor. Do you know about Appendix A to Ind AS 10? Appendix A to Ind AS 10. Ind AS 10 you know. Ind AS 10 is what? Event occurring after reporting date. In that, have you done Appendix A to Ind AS 10? Non-cash asset held for distribution to honor. Appendix A to Ind AS 10. How many of you have not done? How many have done? Only one student is raising, and that is my student. You don't see the syllabus. When a teacher is teaching, you should see the syllabus also, na? Whether teacher is teaching as per the syllabus or not. Why? That is very important. Question is expected from that. And without that business combination, I can't teach. Huh? If you are saying business combination, so how can I teach without that? Nalayak. Achha, Nalayak, whenever I say, this is my actually habit. Only Nalayak becomes CA. So I was biggest Nalayak. Therefore, we are in commerce. Otherwise, we would have opted what? Science, na. Correct, na. Are bolna rahe. So only Nalayak comes in commerce. And Nalayak becomes chartered accountant. Who are Mahanalayak, they don't do anything. Okay? Non-current asset, chalo theek hai. Let us assume that you know that Ind AS appendix. Assume kar leta hu. Non-current asset held for sale, non-current asset held for distribution to honor, then discontinued operation. Then one more point I will add, even though not directly related to this chapter, that is abandoned asset. Have you done abandoned asset? Do you know what is the difference between abandoned asset and asset held for sale? Abandoned asset, not in use, but not held for sale. Means abandoned asset are not classified as held for sale. Therefore, abandoned asset are not covered under Ind AS 105. So, which Ind AS will be used for abandoned asset? For example, just try to understand. This question is given in analysis of financial statement chapter. Whatever question I'm asking to you, same question is given in analysis. There is one chapter na, analysis of financial statement. There is one question created of this level. Everyone. If I say there is one property, plant and equipment is in use. Property, plant and equipment classified as held for sale. Property, plant and equipment is now abandoned. 3 cases I have given. Understood. But the property, plant and equipment is in use, which is Ind AS 16. Property, plant and equipment held for sale, which Ind AS 105. And property, plant and equipment abandoned. Not, you say not in use, I can say. But not held for sale. 16. Very good. Means, if suppose any asset has been abandoned, abandoned means will not use it. Whether we charge depreciation on that? Yes or no? Yes. Means abandoned asset, useful life is not yet over. Useful life is not yet over. We have abandoned it from our business, but it can be used for some other purpose. It can be used for some other purpose. We don't know what is the use, we don't know when we will use it. Correct now. But right now it has been abandoned. It means even though it is abandoned, depreciation will not cease. Depreciation will cease only when it is classified as held for sale or it is de-recognized, whichever is earlier. Already we have done this point. It might happen, abandon asset, if there is no future economic benefit, then it will be also de-recognized. We have done under de-recognition. So I am just giving my example. 1 year before, I was using this laptop. This is Microsoft Pro. Microsoft Pro 4. I was having Pro 4 before this laptop. That laptop was in good condition only. We maintain everything in good condition. Chartered accountant now. Very good. ऐसे प्यार से साफ है. Correct. That was in good condition, but what happened? कि this screen now was थोड़ा सा damaged. थोड़ा सा. Then also I was using it. क्या रे usable है ना? But what happened? When I was writing now, when I was writing the writing was not properly coming, and the output of the writing was not correct in this screen, and my recording was also affected. Correct? Means in class now I can't use it. Bole yes or no? So I have abandoned that, and I purchased same similar model but higher advanced laptop. Abandoned, not in use. But whether I should charge depreciation on that? Yes. But if there is no future economic benefit from this in my business, then it will be fully impaired from my business balance sheet. Are you getting what I am saying? So if this abandoned asset has no future economic benefit, then it will be de-recognized and fully impaired. Understood? Means when I am saying India's 16, so automatically India's 36 is also applicable. So India's 36 says that if there is no value in use and no fair value less cost to sell, so it is fully impaired. Fully impaired means de-recognized. Are you able to understand what I am saying? That is abandoned asset. Yes, sir, we have understood. Now, so we'll discuss about abandoned asset also at the end. So there are 4 points. Now, it deals with actually classification, 3 marks: classification, disclosure and presentation. So classification, for this we need to understand classification. Means when an asset will become non-current asset held for sale, non-current asset held for distribution, and when it will become discontinued operation. Okay. Disclosure is required. Disclosure is required only for what? Discontinued operation. Achha, I have forgot one thing. First is measurement, then disclosure and presentation. The measurement is required for these two. Ind AS 105 does not deal with measurement principle for discontinued operation, and they deals only with what? Disclosure and presentation of discontinued operation. Discontinued operation means when I am saying this, so we'll focus on what? Measurement. When I am saying discontinued operation, we'll focus on what? Presentation in SOPL. Presentation in SOPL. This you understood? Correct? Understood. Yeah. Now, this is non-current asset or disposal group. One more point has been added. This is not only non-current asset. This is non-current asset or disposal group classified as held for sale. Non-current asset or disposal group classified as held for distribution. So we need to understand what is the meaning of disposal group. Non-current asset we know. What is not current asset? That is non-current asset. Correct, na? So what is current asset? Who will explain what is current asset? I said those assets which are not current asset. So what is current asset? In exam they will never ask what is current asset. I am asking only. What is current asset? Suppose you become in interview, they ask what is current asset. So what do you will say? We don't know. Teacher has not done. Bolo. Current asset very simple. Huh? One. I can't understand. I know you know. Bol. Now you will not say. You say holding period of only this much. I said your answer should be best answer. Only one chance you have. Will be de-recognized. Will be de-recognized. Oh my God. Within working period. What is working period? Huh? Non-operating? Normal operating cycle. What is पूरा बोलना? It means, are you able to understand what I am saying? कि if I am asking current asset definition from CA final student and you will do uyamma, so it does not look good. It does not look good. Correct now? It means all the definition you should know. Definition is very important. Definition is very important to become CA. Correct? Chalo. This current asset definition is given where you know in which Ind AS? Ind AS 1. It is given under Ind AS 1. So that will do there. But you have understood what is non-current asset. Non-current asset are those assets which are not current asset. That you have understood. Okay, sir. Now question arises, which non-current asset? Whether it will include PP, bolo. Yes. Whether it will include intangible asset, bolo. Whether it will include investment property, bolo. Whether it will include biological asset, bolo. Yes or no? No. Yes, no. Whether it will include investment, whether it will include investment, huh? Whether it will include investment in subsidiaries, joint venture associate, yes. Whether it will include other investment, no. Whether it will include other non-current asset, no. So it will include only those non-current assets for which Ind AS 36 was applicable. If you understand this point. Correct. Means Ind AS 105 is not applicable to deferred tax asset for asset arising from employee benefit, because I have not done Ind AS 19. If you know, there is a plan asset there. So in that also Ind AS 105 is not applicable. Financial assets which are covered under Ind AS 109, but investment in associate joint venture subsidiaries are not covered under Ind AS 109. For that 105 is applicable. Non-current assets which are measured at fair value, biological assets are measured at fair value. Therefore, for them also, this Ind AS 105 is not applicable. Means in simple word, it is applicable for PP, it is applicable for intangible asset, it is applicable for investment property, it is applicable for investment in subsidiaries, joint venture or associate. Other non-current asset, 105 not applicable. Understood this point? Even though name is non-current asset held for sale, but only 4 non-current asset. Correct? Yes, sir. Then, what is the meaning of disposer group? Disposer group is a group of assets and liability. Disposer group is a group of assets and liability. But this asset will include current asset. This asset will include current asset. What do you think? Yes, because I have said asset. So asset means any asset and liabilities. So any group of assets and liability to be disposed of, till now not disposed, to be disposed of by sale, only by sale, not by any other means, by sale, together as a group in a single transaction, means that is going to be disposed together as a single transaction if you have done under income tax lump sale. Are you getting? For example, this is a group of assets and liability and we have decided to dispose of together in a single transaction, that become disposal group. This become disposal group. So the group you understood? Correct? Yes, sir. Classification. when it will become held for sale. When it will become held for sale. So any entity shall classify non-current asset or disposal group as held for sale if its carrying amount will be recovered principally through transaction. It means not by means of use. Not by means of use. Means you have decided to dispose of. Means you have decided not to use it. Not to use it. Are you getting what I'm saying? Correct? One second. An entity shall classify non-current asset group as held for sale if its carrying amount will be principally recovered through sale transaction. Now, doubt arises. Suppose this is one laptop I have decided to dispose of. I have decided. Okay, but I am using it because first I need to find some customer. Nah, so customer will take some time to come. So whether I will throw this. Now the question arises, I have decided to dispose it of, but right now it is available with me. Whether this will be non-current asset held for sale. Huh? So how we will understand it is principally recovered from, it is principally the carrying amount will be recovered through sale. It means there are some conditions for this also. They have given two conditions. Following conditions should be satisfied. 1, 2. Important from examination point of view. They will assess whether it is held for sale or not. You write down dot to dot as it is. You can't write down in your own words. If you are writing in your own words, I don't know how many marks they will give. But they will not give more than 50%. That is pakka. First, non-current asset or disposal group must be available for immediate sale in its current condition. Means I can use it, huh? They are not saying don't use it. But it must be available for immediate sale in its current condition. In its current condition means what? Key, suppose I have one investment property I have given on tenant. I have given on rent. And I said it will be sold one and vacated. So it means it is not available for sale in its current condition. Or for example, I have this camera, I will say I will dispose of after doing some expenditure on this. So it means it is not available for sale in current condition. So it should be available for sale immediately on current condition. Correct? Understood? So present condition, immediate sale. These are the two keywords. Correct? Then sale must be highly probable. Highly probable. They have used the word probable for the highly probable for the first time. However, liability mein they have used the present obligation. Present obligation is probable, not highly probable. So they have used the word highly probable. So sale must be highly probable. So sir, how will understand it is highly probable? Well, if 5 conditions satisfied, it will become highly probable. Everything given in days only. So what are the 5 conditions? Management must be committed for sale. Means generally what happens, if I am committed to someone, I will disclose in the Facebook now. Are bolna yes or no? And if I am not committed, I will never disclose. Correct now? There was one of my friend, he is also chartered accountant. Till now he has not written that he is married in Facebook. I asked one day, why you have not disclosed that you are married in Facebook? I understood what is going on. Nothing to ask now. It means committed, even though engaged. Correct now. It means whenever you are committed, you will disclose. Correct now. If you are not committed, you will not disclose. You are committed to become CA or not? It means you can write down CA in your name. Yes. Yes, you can write down. You know, my first visiting card was when I passed IPCC. I created my first visiting card. I said, I am chartered accountant, CA Chiranjeev Jain. And I started giving to my relative. I am not CA, how professional ethics is. If I'm not chartered accountant, whether chartered accountant act is applicable for me? No. Case kar. CA means what? Cartoon artist? I can write CA or not? I'm not chartered accountant. CA act is not applicable for me. So do whatever you want to do. I will write CA. CA Chiranjeev Jain because I was committed. So I have disclosed all. Ki ho gaya. Now I am come. Give me whatever files you have. You know, after IPCC and before CA final, from only practice, I have earned 2 lakh rupees. Means I started earning from what filing of return, etc. Because I have disclosed everyone. They started giving me work. They started giving work. I started charging money. I had to charge from my uncle also. Uncle came to me. Achha, you are in CA final. Can you file return? I said 2,000 rupees. Well, yaar, chalo 1,900. Correct, na. But I will charge because chartered accountant. CA will not give any service free of cost. I will charge if my father permit, I will charge my father also. But chalo theek hai, emotional attachment is there. Theek hai. Understood? Correct. Some free seva is also required. I don't charge. Arey baba. Parents are sabse upar. But just try to. CA will not give any services free of cost. That's why we are chartered accountant. ठीक है. So management must be committed for sale. Management has initiated an active program to find out potential buyer. Means whether they have initiated an active program, means whether I have done one advertisement for sale of this laptop. If done, it is highly probable. Correct. Sale price is reasonable in relation to current market price. Means suppose the current fair value of this laptop is 1 lakh. And I want 1,50,000. It means you do not want to sell. You are not committed to sell. So sale price must be reasonable in relation to current fair value. The sale transaction is expected to be complete within 12 months from the date of classification, and management is not expected to withdraw from its plan. If this condition is satisfied, it becomes highly probable. Can you repeat with me? Because you need to write down as it is. Point number A is what? Management must be committed for sale. Management has initiated an active program to find out potential customer. Sale price is reasonable in relation to current fair value. The sale transaction is expected to be completed within 12 months from the date of classification. Last, management is not expected to withdraw from its plan. Now, once again, point number 1. Management is. Point number 2. I am assuming you are saying correct. Point number 2 once again. Management has initiated an program to find out. Point number 3. Point number D. Point number 5. Understood. Correct. Measurement. Simple. It will be measured at lower of carrying amount and fair value less cost to sell. But what Ind AS 36 impairment says, it will be measured at lower of carrying amount and recoverable amount. Recoverable amount was higher of value in use and fair value less cost to sell. Understood? Now one doubt will come, sir, if we have Ind AS 36, why Ind AS 105? Understood? This is 100% genuine. Ind AS 36 compare carrying amount and recoverable amount, and one of the recoverable amount is fair value less cost to sell. So suppose if I am not using it, so I will sell it, and if I will sell it, already we have done fair value less cost to sell under Ind AS 36. Why this Ind AS? Doubt understood? Everyone, just try to understand. Doubt is what this. Understood? Means, everyone, this is the date. This is the date when the asset is purchased, date of purchase. This is the date when the asset become ready to use. This is the date when the asset become put to use. And suppose this is the date when it is classified as held for sale. And this is the date when it is actually sold. Okay. Now from this date to this date, Ind AS 16 is applicable. Now when I am saying Ind AS 16, Ind AS 16 means cost model, revaluation model both will be applicable. When I am saying Ind AS 16, depreciation will be applicable. When I am saying Ind AS 16, impairment will be done as per Ind AS 36. Means once it is classified as held for sale, then Ind AS 16 is not applicable. So Ind AS 105 will be attracted and the depreciation will be permanently ceased. And now no impairment. No impairment. Correct? And on sale means during this we are applying 105. But on sale once again you will apply what? 16. De-recognition is done as per Ind AS 16. Already we have done under Ind AS 16 de-recognition part. So de-recognition is not as per Ind AS 105. Only measurement during this period is done as per what? Ind AS 105. Are you able to understand? Now, impairment, Ind AS 36, everyone, Ind AS 36 says carrying amount or recoverable amount whatever is lower. Recoverable amount means what? Value in use or what? Fair value less cost to sell, whichever is higher. Ind AS 105 says carrying amount of fair value less cost to sell, whichever is lower. I think you have understood why there is no value in use in case of Ind AS 105, because it is not in use now. So only from sale, principally recovered from sale. Correct. Now, everyone, what is the major difference between these two is what? This fair value is measured as per Ind AS 36, but this fair value is measured as per 113. Now, of course, you will ask me, sir, what is difference between these two fair value? Now you will not leave me. Correct now? So, what is the difference between fair value as per 113? What is the difference between fair value as per Ind AS 36? I have said under Ind AS 36 कि fair value is measured as per the guidance given under Ind AS 36, not as per Ind AS 113. However, revaluation model as per fair value is as per 113. Correct? Now, so there are two fair value. Fair value as per Ind AS 36, fair value as per 113. Can you say once the asset is damaged and we have not decided to sell it, then to impairment is applicable. Means impairment when we are doing Ind AS 36, so it is damaged, and once it's damaged there is an indicator that this asset has been impaired. So on the date of damage, whether you have decided to sell it, no. Correct. It means either it can be used or it can be sold in future. Right now you don't know. Right now you don't know whether you will use it or you will sell it. You will sell it when it is not of any use for your business purpose. Agreeing. Suppose, I will not say this example, this project is not my projector. This projector fell down. So can we decide today whether it is going to be used or whether it is going to be not used in future? It will take some time na. Are bolna yes or no? So on the date of indicator, we don't know. After 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 1 year, we may decide that now it is of no use. Now it will be held for what? Sale. Understood what I am saying? This understood? Means on this date, it might be sold in future. But on this date, it will be sold in future. There are two things. On the date of impairment, it is not decided to be sold. It may or may not be sold in future. But on the date of classification as per held for sale, it will be sold in future. Are you able to understand? So, batao, if it will be sold in future, batao, fair value should be determined as per market terms, ki as per entities terms. You say. market term. So this fair value is based on market terms because you'll go to market and find out what can be the possible price we can recover. But if it is not decided to be sold, whether you go to market, I am using it and you are saying find out fair value. I will say yes, 1 lakh. But I will not go to market and find out. Whether I'll go to market and find out. No, no. It means this is based on entities conditions. Means whenever you find out fair value based on market condition 113. Whenever you find out fair value based on entities condition, then respective Indias. Respective Indias. This is the difference between these two fair value. This is the difference between these two fair value. You know NRV? NRV inventory. NRV. But whether NRV and fair value are same or different? NRV and fair value are same or different? Different because name is different. Understood why they have not used the word fair value there? Because if they will use fair value, then 113 lag jayega. So they have used the word NRV because that NRV is based on entities condition. Because entity is going to sell my product, I will sell. I will not go to the market now. If suppose I want to find out the price, what price I will charge from my student FR, I will go to the market. No, I will determine my cost price plus profit margin. Are bolna re? That is based on entities condition. Therefore, they have used the word NRV. They have not used the word fair value. Because if they will use the word fair value, we need to go to what 113. So this fair value and this fair value are different. This fair value and this fair value are different. One very good question was given in SM. I don't know whether I have included in this or not, but I will create that question if you permit me. Very good question. Who have knowledge about this, then only they can do. Otherwise, they will be confused in exam. On the same date impaired and on the same date classified as held for sale, they will give two fair value. Understood? 1 second. On the same date impaired, on the same date classified as held for sale. For impairment, fair value will be different. For classification, fair value different. Why? Because both fair value are measured as per different principle. On same date, they will give two fair value. Now, those who don't know, they will be confused why they have given two fair value on the same date. For impairment, fair value will be different. For classification, fair value different. Understood why? That is a question given in SM. I forgot whether it is in SM or MTP. I forgot. But there is one question given by ICI, I will say. You have done that type of question? Not done. Chalo, I will create that question. But have you understood? On the same date impaired, on the same date classified, they will give how many fair value? Two fair value. One is fair value for, and both will be. But first you will do impairment, first you will do 105 classification. First impairment, then classified as held for sale. First do impairment, then find out carrying amount, then apply what 105. Very interesting question. That was so Jabardast question. And SM Institute started creating that type of question. Means only overall will not do in exam. You have to understand the depth of the chapter. Have you understood this now? Now it becomes simple once I have explained this. This fair value less cost to sell is as per 113. That is already written somewhere. Fair value is measured as per 113. Now, downward revaluation, impairment, and this is also one type of downward decrease now. This loss will be also known as impairment loss, even though it is not as per Ind AS 36. Means in Ind AS 105, this loss, if the fair value is less than carrying amount, we call it impairment loss only. Name is same, measurement principle is different. So there are three types of loss. One is downward revaluation, one is impairment loss as per Ind AS 36, one is impairment loss as per Ind AS 105. Three loss one. Batao, whether downward revaluation can be adjusted with revaluation surplus. Whether downward revaluation can be adjusted with revaluation surplus. Whether impairment loss can be adjusted with impairment loss as per Ind AS 36 can be adjusted with revaluation surplus. Yes or no? I have done, but yes or no? Yes. Whether impairment loss as per Ind AS 105 can be adjusted with revaluation surplus. We have revaluation surplus. Yes or no? Huh? You are saying no because you have understood my emotions. From my emotions you understood. No, ही होगा. Understood. So this is also very important. Revaluation Ind AS 16 loss. Impairment Ind AS 36 loss. Classification as held for sale Ind AS 105 loss. Can be adjusted, can be adjusting, cannot be adjusted. Why? Because once 105 is applicable, Ind AS 16 cannot be applied. Means whatever revaluation surplus is there, that cannot be used. Understood? Super point. This is super point. And you will have revaluation surplus, you will adjust it. 5 marks question become 0 marks. Means this loss will be always adjusted with PL. This loss will be always adjusted with PL. Even though you have what? Revaluation surplus in your balance sheet. Even though you have a revaluation surplus in your balance sheet. Super point. And they have asked this type of question in exam. Yes, asked. Correct? Understood? Yes. Then this point, depreciation amortization will cease. This point you will understood. Now, for disposal group, can you say for disposal group carrying amount less fair value less cost, that will be total impairment loss. So that impairment loss will be allocated to which asset? So once again, same point whatever we have done as per Ind AS 36. The loss recognized for disposal group, it will be allocated between non-current asset to which Ind AS 105 is applicable. Means disposal group is a group of all asset. But impairment loss will be applicable only to which asset? Non-current asset to which Ind AS 105 will be applicable. Means it will be allocated only to PP, intangible asset, investment property and investment in subsidiaries, etc. etc. Correct? In the following order, first to goodwill if any. Balance loss will be allocated to other non-current asset to which Ind AS 105 is applicable in the ratio of their carrying amount. Same thing we have done under Ind AS 36, but there it was all asset. Here it is only those non-current asset to which Ind AS 105 is applicable. This is the only question I'm expecting in exam. Let us do one question of this nature. So more or less this chapter will be covered from examination point of view. Then I will go to discontinued operation. They have given 2 questions only this. 2-3 questions in ICI module. Means they have not gone to the depth of this chapter. This you can understand by your own. This classification you do. Change of plan. Post balance sheet item you can understand by your own. Come to question number 56. Write down expected. Following is the extract of consolidated. Chalo, we will take break. We'll do after what? Because this will take another 10 minutes. We'll take break. We'll do the balance part in the next session. Okay, correct. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next session.